What if the next world war begins not with a bang, but with quiet, calculated moves already underway? Secret deals, cyber attacks, crippling nations, armies shifting under the cover of diplomacy. It's 2025. While headlines focus on politics and economics, a more dangerous reality takes shape. A silent countdown has begun. Warnings from military experts suggest the risk of global conflict is accelerating. In this investigation, we connect the dots, showing how US, Russia, and China rivalries are pushing the world toward a breaking point. This is not prediction, it's analysis of a world on the edge. The thesis. The warning signs are clear. We are in a period of maximum danger. For the first time, the US faces two nuclear-armed rivals at once. This isn't one crisis, but a web of flashpoints, each a trigger for catastrophe. While some argue full-scale war is unlikely, the risk is rising. Public anxiety grows. A YouGov poll shows many in the West believe a third world war is likely within a decade. This analysis highlights three critical fronts: Russia's war in Europe, China's Pacific strategy, and America's struggle to respond. The reality is that key powers are already moving their pieces. The Russian front, Empire Reborn. The first front is Europe. Russia's war in Ukraine has become a global arms race. Despite early failures, Moscow put its economy on war footing, preparing for long confrontation with the West. Its defense industry may soon outproduce US and Europe in artillery shells. For Putin, it's about redrawing Europe's map. His goal, fracture NATO and restore influence. Russia wages shadow war through cyber attacks, disinformation, and political destabilization. Ceasefire talks may only be pauses for rearming. Backed by partners like Iran and North Korea, Russia's war machine is mobilized, its economy resilient, its ambitions expanding. Europe remains on a knife's edge. The Chinese strategy, silent superpower. While Russia fights openly, China plays the long game in the Pacific. Taiwan, self-governing but claimed by Beijing, is at the center. US assessments suggest China aims for invasion capability by 2027. The PLA conducts naval patrols resembling rehearsals for blockade or invasion. Economically, the US imposes tech restrictions. Beijing retaliates with its own measures. Alongside this is an information war to isolate Taiwan. Most alarming is China's no-limits partnership with Russia. Economically, Moscow supplies energy. Militarily, they hold joint drills. Together they pose the nightmare of a two-front war. These crises are not separate. They are intertwined threads of confrontation. Now, let's see where the US stands. The US response and vulnerabilities. As Russia and China coordinate, the US faces the scenario senior military leaders fear most: two simultaneous conflicts. A Chinese strike on Taiwan could draw US forces to the Pacific, opening the door for a Russian move in Europe. The strain is immense. For the first time since the Cold War, Washington must plan against two nuclear peers at once. A tech race in AI, robotics, and hypersonics intensifies. Yet Russia modernizes nukes while China rapidly expands its arsenal. America's internal divisions add risk. A polarized political landscape weakens alliances needed to deter aggression. Moscow and Beijing exploit this. Diplomatically, the US walks a razor's edge, balancing declining cooperation and rising rivalry. The challenge is unlike any in recent history. The convergence, terrifying reality. These aren't isolated crises, but a synchronized challenge to the world order. Russia and China's actions may be complementary, forming a coordinated strategy. NATO's commander has warned of a crisis where China attacks Taiwan while Russia presses Europe, a two-front emergency that could break allied forces. In such a trap, Russia bleeds NATO resources in Ukraine, keeping the West distracted, while China tightens its grip on Taiwan. With partners like Iran and North Korea, this axis could deliberately engineer a two-front war. If America pivots to Asia, Europe is vulnerable. If it doubles down on Europe, Taiwan may fall. The world's leading superpower risks overstretch. The question is no longer if these conflicts could merge, but how the West would respond. Standing at the precipice. The risks of 2025 are grim. Russia retools for long war against NATO. China builds for Taiwan on its own terms. Linking them is a partnership aimed at challenging the US-led order. We are in the second nuclear age, a multipolar world where miscalculation is dangerously likely. Supply chains have become weapons. Cyber attacks can cripple nations, and nuclear expansion raises the stakes. While many hope diplomacy prevents disaster, more analysts are sounding alarms. An Atlantic Council survey found 40% of experts expect world war within the next decade. A conflict they fear could turn nuclear. This isn't about fear, but about understanding the stakes. The pieces are on the board, and the game is underway. The final question is this: are we prepared for the world that may be coming?